Mars has been called the Death Planet, with good reason. It has been a spacecraft graveyard. More than half of the missions sent here have failed. NASA's success rate is better than other nations. But in 1999, the space agency's Jet Propulsion Laboratory experienced 4 unexpected and painful public losses when an orbiter, a lander, and 2 microprobes upon arriving were never heard from again. As if to taunt its victories, Mars dared that it be challenged again in 2003, a time the red planet would be the nearest to Earth that it had been in 60,000 years. The last time these 2 planets were this close, Neanderthals roamed the Earth. Wanting to regain its confidence, JPL took up the Martian dare, and then doubled down by agreeing to build and land on Mars not 1, but 2 rovers. Something never before attempted.
Expected parachute deploy in 5 seconds.
This is the triumphant story of spirit and opportunity. 2 rovers that survived the ordeal of landing on Mars.
1, mark.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 green board, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, engine start, and liftoff of the Delta II rocket carrying the Spirit from Earth to planet Mars.
Load relief kick rate is in, vehicles responding. We're approaching Mach 1. And there we go. We've exceeded the supersonic speed, and the engine positions look good.
Just watching it get up and off the pad and shoot off into the sky is a fantastic feeling.
Onboard video system working perfectly, sending back an immaculate image. We're now passing an altitude of 4 nautical miles.
It brings so much closure to what you've been doing that you have to be happy about that.
Just coming up on 2,000 miles per hour, passing T plus 60 seconds. Our solid motors have burned out.
But until you see the launch vehicle separate and spin down,
like a nice crisp jettison from the fairing,
and turn on the star scanners and exercise its propulsion system, find out where the temperatures are going to level out, understanding whether the solar panels are generating the power they're supposed to be. Until you see all that kind of settle in, it was hard for me to relax.
Now we're looking at a height of apogee of 90.0 nautical miles, extremely close to our nominal predicted orbit. Okay, we've entered a coast phase of the mission.
The journeys to Mars for Spirit and Opportunity would take 7 months, crossing a distance of some 300 million miles. This cruise portion of a planetary mission can be a relatively quiet time, but not for these 2 spacecraft.
While we are acquiring global image, receiving the PDF full packet box.
So just in the last hours, we haven't moved very much.
A lot of people think cruise is easy because we're just cruising along. You know, there was this animation of the Mir spacecraft, and you saw it launch, and you saw the excitement of the different stages coming off. And then it starts going on its way to Mars and sails off into the sunset. And then it says 7 months later. Well, those 7 months, that's really what we're concerned with. We have to work hard.
Currently Mach 16.6, altitude 30.
While navigators plotted trajectories, the flight team practiced the complex landing sequences that are called EDL, short for entry, descent, and landing, but also known as 6 minutes of terror. EDL is the most complicated and dangerous part of any mission trying to reach the Martian surface. In a matter of minutes, multiple spacecraft transformations have to take place. It begins with separating from the cruise stage. Next, the rover, enclosed in a capsule, hits the atmosphere at 12,000 miles per hour. 4 minutes later, the speed has been reduced to 1,000 miles per hour, slow enough for a supersonic parachute to deploy without shredding. Then the heat shield jettisons, and the lander begins rappelling down a metal tape and a rope bridle. Meanwhile, a computer is calculating information about motion and altitude. Only seconds remain before the airbags inflate, the rockets fire, the metal tape and bridle rope are cut, and the lander free falls to the surface. The first bounce could be as high as a 4-story building, followed by more bounces that could go on for half a mile before the lander, with the rover tightly wrapped inside, comes to a rest. Hopefully, in one piece. The 6 minutes of EDL terror is still months away. Part of this time is used for training, what engineers call operational readiness tests.
Lucky peanuts.
The tests are meant to be as realistic as possible, including the JPL tradition of munching on peanuts for good luck. But this test is not going according to plan.
Flight business suspect, the CDS should not be listening at this time. We have our system set up that is not sending data.
A processor fatal fault.
Unknown to the team, mission planners have inserted unanticipated technical gremlins into the drill to see how the team will react. The results of early rehearsals were closer to 6 minutes of errors than terror.
Here. Do we know when the fail occurred to see whether this is enough time to recover Celestial?
It occurred sometime after we got the last packet, because it would have shown up as a tone in tone 2.
2 negative dips in one.
We actually had 3 or 4 simulations where we would sit in the mission control room and we would pretend like the real thing was happening. It was a good thing we did, because the first time we tried this, it was a sheer disaster.
There's actually a small chance we did actually fail between now. That test artifact is now.
We are now about 26 minutes from entry. Velocity 5,250 meters per second.
Wayne Lee managed the rover's entry, descent, and landing system that is responsible for getting the rovers down on the ground. During the actual landings, he will be in a different kind of hot seat, as the voice of mission control.
Now, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark.